Hey guys, Miss Adair, and I'm back. I moved locations, came out here to the 7th grade team or commons area, just a little change of pace. But we are here and we're going to read chapter 30 from Stargirl. We ended up with Stargirl winning the contest. She's coming back and expecting this huge celebration of all of her classmates, and that totally didn't happen. Like, nobody was there. A couple teachers, Dory Dilson, nobody was there. And I'm sure that Stargirl was heartbroken. So we'll see if Leo's able to support her through that and just to kind of help cheer her up. And, you know, what's Stargirl's next step? This is her realizing that she probably can't please anybody or everybody. And, what's she going to do? Is she going to stay Susan? Let's see. Chapter 30. As we idled, stunned and silent, in front of Dory Dilson's sign, Susan's parents came and retrieved her from Mr. McShane's car. As in all things, they did not appear especially surprised or emotional over what was happening. Susan seemed in a trance. She sat beside me, staring vacantly at the sign through the windshield. Her hand was no longer holding mine. I groped for words, but could not find them. When her parents came, she allowed herself to be led away. As she got out of the car, the silver plate slid from her lap and rang like a dying bell against the asphalt. Her father picked it up. I thought she would take it, but instead he leaned into the back seat where I sat with a strange smile and gave it to me. I did not see her for the rest of the weekend. By Monday, she was Stargirl again. Floor-length skirt, ribbons in her hair, just like that. She went from table to table at lunchtime, passing out happy face cookies. She even gave one to Hillary. Hillary took off the shoe and used it like a hammer to smash the cookie on her table. Stargirl strolled along the tables, strumming her ukulele, asking for requests. Cinnamon perched on her shoulder. He was strapped into a tiny toy ukulele. She made her voice squeaky and kept her lips from moving when it was Cinnamon's turn to sing. Dory Dilson, bless her, stood and applauded. She was the only one. I was too stunned to join her, and too cowardly, and angry, and not wanting to show approval for the return of Stargirl. Most students did not even look, did not even seem to listen. At the bell, as we left the lunchroom, I looked back. The tables were littered with cookies. Walking with her after school that day, I said, "Well, I guess you're giving up, huh?" And she looked at me. Giving up? On what? On being popular, on being, how could I say it? She shrugged. Normal? I shrugged. Yes, she said firmly. Yes. I'm answering your question. The answer is yes. I'm giving up on trying to be popular and normal. Her face and body language did not seem to match her words. She looked cheery and perky. So did Cinnamon, perched on her shoulder. Well, don't you think you should back off a little? I said, don't come on so strong. She smiled at me, and she reached out and brushed the tip of my nose with her fingertip. Because we live in a world of them, right? You told me that once. We stared at each other, and she kissed me on the cheek and then walked away. She turned and said, "I know you're going to have to ask me to the Ocotillo ball." "It's okay." "Oh, excuse me, guys," she said. "I know you're not going to ask me to the Ocotillo ball. It's okay." She gave me a little smile of infinite kindness and understanding, the smile I had seen her aim at so many other needy souls, and in that moment I hated her. That very night, as if I were playing a scripted role, Kevin called me and said, "Well, so who are you taking to the Ocotillo ball?" I dodged. "Who are you taking?" "Don't know," he said. "I don't either." There was a pause on the other end of the line. "Well, not Stargirl?" "Not necessarily." "Are you trying to tell me something?" "What would I want to tell you?" I thought you were a 2. I thought there was no question. So, why are you asking? I said, and I hung up. In bed that night, I became more and more uncomfortable as the moonlight crept up my sheet. I did something I had never done before. I pulled down the shade. In my dreams, the old man on the mall bench, raising a wobbling head, and croaked, "How dare you forgive me?" The next morning, there was a new item on the plywood Roadrunner, a sheet of white paper, and on the top it said, "Sign up here to join the new musical group, the Yuki Dukes. No experience necessary." There were 2 numbered columns for names, 40 in all. By the end of the day, all 40 were filled in with names such as Minnie Mouse and Darth Vader and the Swamp Thing. The principal's name was there too, and Wayne Parr and Dory Dilson. "Did you see?" said Kevin. "Somebody wrote in Parr's name." We were in the studio control room, and it was May, and our hot seats were over for the year. But on some days, we still gravitated toward the studio after school. "I saw," I said. He stepped up to a blank monitor and studied his reflection. "So, I didn't see your name on the list." "Nope." "So you don't want to be a Yuki Duke?" "I guess not." We fiddled with the equipment for a while, and Kevin walked out onto the stage. He flipped a switch. His mouth moved, but I couldn't hear. I held the soft pad of the headphone against my ear. His voice seemed to come from another world. "She's turning goofy again, isn't she? Worse than ever." I stared at him through the glass. I put down the headphone and walked out. I understood what he was doing. He had decided that now it was okay to say bad things about Stargirl. Permission to do so must have come from my behavior. Apparently, the first to read me was Stargirl herself. I felt the sting from her remark about the Ocotillo ball. Was I that obvious? Classrooms, hallways, courtyard, lunchroom. Everywhere I went, I heard her disparaged, mocked, and slurred. Her attempt to be popular, to be more like them, had been a total failure. If anything, they detested her more now. And they were more vocal about it around me. Or was I just listening better? She and Dory Dilson, the only Yuki Dukes, did a duet in the courtyard one day after school. Stargirl strummed the ukulele, and they both sang Blue Hawaii. Clearly, they had been practicing. They were very good, but they were also very ignored. By the end of the song, they were the only 2 left in the courtyard. Next day, they were there again. This time, they wore sombreros, and they sang Mexican songs. "Cielto lindo, vaya con Dios, my darling." I stayed inside the school. I was afraid to walk past them, as if they weren't there. I was equally afraid to stand and listen. I peeked from a window. Stargirl was doing her best imitation of a flamenco. The click of the castanets came through the window pane. Students walked past, most of them not even glancing her way. I saw Wayne Parr and Hillary Kimball go past, Hillary laughing out loud. I realized now that the shunning would never end, and I knew what I should do. I should go out there and stand in front of them and applaud. I should show Stargirl and the rest of the world that I wasn't like the rest of them, that I appreciated her and I celebrated her and in her insistence on being herself. But I stayed inside. I waited until the last of the students had left the courtyard, and Stargirl and Dory were performing to no one. And to my surprise, they went on and on. It was too painful to watch. I left the school by another door. That's the end of chapter 30. It's almost hard to watch Leo struggle like this and to just kind of give up on what he knows is right, but he's too scared to be able to act and to do the right thing. Have you guys ever felt that way? I know I have. Till next time. Bye.